Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm working in Canvas Workspace again, and this time I'm going to show you how you can make a shaped gatefold card. And for this project I've made this little owl. This is a project that can come together very quickly, and you can make any kind of shape that you like into a gatefold by merely welding the sides together and then making your fold on these outer pieces so that when it comes in together like that, it forms the perfect gatefold. And it's very easy to do, especially with the aid of Canvas Workspace. So if you want to learn how to do it, stick with me and I'll show you how. The first thing is, of course, to select a shape that we can turn into this gatefold card. And we have these shapes which we could select from. Maybe a star or even a heart, etc. But instead I'm going to look for a character. And I'm going to go up to the Canvas project collection and search for an owl. I do believe there is one in here. Yes, there it is. It's actually a pincushion, which we're not going to, of course, use as a pincushion. We're going to turn this into a card. So I'm going to bring in A and B onto my mat. And of course, you can see that it's much too large for our purposes because we're going to need 3 of these owls. And they'll need to be welded together. So what I'm going to do, these are all those sort of decorative pieces. We may or may not be using all of those, or we may do some alterations, but I'm going to just group them together for now. And I want to ensure that if I change one or the other, that they've been then selected together and then resized. So to begin with, I think I'll just go ahead and make my owl into the 3 parts. So I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to align it to the bottom. And then I'm going to distribute the space. I think about 1/4 of an inch, or a negative 1/4 of an inch should be about right. So you can see the overlap there. Might make it just a bit more. Let's see, let's go down to 0.30 and let's see where that gets us. That might be a little better, I think. So what I'll do then is come to process overlap and weld those 3 owls together like that. Now I can resize all my shapes at the same time by selecting both of those. So we now have the 2 bounding boxes, and I'm just going to use my drag and pull this down to what size I think is going to work. Now, of course, it's got to fit within the cutting area, but you don't always have to rely on the actual width of the mat. If you take this and rotate it, you can actually get in a larger size. I'm going to put that back for the moment. And that's what we're going to be doing when we decide how large we want this. And I'm going to go up just a bit more. And I think I could probably take that to about maybe 11.5. Let's see. Thereabouts. That would fit in comfortably. So we might just have it come a little bit bigger. Now, if you have pattern paper or something that has a texture that goes a certain way that you don't want to use this on the diagonal, of course, you don't have to do that. But I think that's probably going to be pretty good. It's large enough, I think. So I'm just going to bring it back to the position there. And I decided that 11 point. Let's try 5. Let's see again. Just going to rotate that quickly and see. Yes, that's good. Okay, so my final answer is 11 3/4 wide by 4.66 in height. Right, now these owls here on either end are going to fold in, so we need a score line. Now you can put the score line in on your scoreboard, or you can do it now using a dashed line, and I'll show you how you can do that. I would go over here to the artboard and select the snap to grid, and I'm just going to reduce this to the spacing of 0.5. Here, where these owls, the top of their heads meet just there, is where you're going to place your grid line or your path tool. So I'm going to place my line there. It keeps it straight then. And then I'll go to Properties and change that to a dashed line. I'm going to select this third one down. And you can see now that that is placed exactly for that grid there, or that score line. Now I need to do the others, but I'm going to do is just group this so that I can move over here to this third one. And I'm going to position it so that just take that snap off for a moment until I can get that in the middle there. Put the snap back on. Come out here. I'll make another one of those score lines in here. Change it to a dash. Okay. And then I'll go back and change my grid back to my 1-inch spacing and take off the snap to grid. And the score lines are in place. Now, if you decide you don't want to use these, you can just simply delete them, or you can keep them, and when you send it to the machine for the cutting, just be sure that you don't have it grouped to the owl, because it will cut it out. It will cut it. Alright, so you need to make sure they're separate. If you want to do that, then when you get it to the machine, if you change your mind and you want to put the score lines back in, you'll have those available to you. But I'm going to, actually, what I'm going to do first, so I'm going to ungroup this. And then go back and group it again so that I just have the one grouping. Right, so the next step I want to do is actually make an outline. I'm going to do an offset line on these owls because that's the main shape, alright? And then I want to be able to layer on top of that as well. So I'm going to use the offset. But in order to offset this, I'm first going to need to remove those score lines, because if I try to offset it at the moment, and I want to offset it inward, it has actually also done the same to the score lines. You can see that there. So you don't want that to happen. So to prevent that, you'll need to ungroup and then just click back on your shape here and do the offset. And let's see, do I want point? Yes, I think I'm going to go with a little bit of a larger offset like that. So we can come back out and take a look. And then I have my owl duplicated again, but slightly smaller than the original. So I could have, if I want to cut that out as pattern paper, I can. Or I may not want to use it at all. I might change my mind totally when I get to the cutting machine, but I've got it available to me now. So I'll just move that over there, and now we can work on the other embellishments that we're going to need for our owl. And if I concentrate on this central one, then I'll know that I've got, I can have an overall look at what I'm going to come up with. Right, let me just move that back. Group that. Okay. Because when we fold this in, these two outer pieces of the owl are what are going to meet in the middle to form this owl. But of course, it'll have this gap right down the center. So when you bring your, example, these eyes in here, put them to the front. there will actually be one here and one over here, like that. But just so we can get an idea as to the sizing that we need, we'll just work with the one in the middle. So we've got these eyes, and I think I'm going to have another of these, so I'll just duplicate that and resize it. Bring it down to 1/2 inch, so that can go in the middle like that. So duplicate that. So there will be the eyes. Then we'll have a little beak. I'm actually going to make that a little bit larger, because what I want with this is when I fold it, there'll be the edge of the card here. There'll be an edge of a card here. And so I want that to more or less come across those two pieces of cardstock. So we've got a little beak, and these are the wings. Now, I'm not really keen on those, so I think I'm going to maybe stretch them out a bit. Just sort of put them in place. Also, I can look and see if there's anything else that would be better than that. We do have this shape. Which could be a fairly good wing as well. Actually, I think I like that, so I'm going to duplicate that. Turn it over. Yes, I think I like that a lot better. So, there we are. You can just move that up there, and if I decide I don't want to do anything with those, I can delete those. So we have quite a bit of it on here. We've got these little bits here. Let's see if there's anything else. I think I would just go ahead and just delete those then. Now we have these scallop pieces which we could have on here. And a lot of that can just be decided when you go to actually place it on the cutout. I'll do is, and I can also reduce that maybe, or we can leave it like that and just cut it by hand when we get over to the machine. I'm going to just take another look going to be like. So the nose will be like so. I think I'll just group these. Just going to resize them a bit. Okay. We'll just work with these two because they are the same as the others. They'll fit in there nicely now. Delete that, and then I can just duplicate these. And put them up here. They can lay it out either now or we can wait till we get over to the machine. I really only need 2 of those. Just the 2 eyes. I don't know why I thought I needed to do that, but there we go. So we have our eyes, our wings, our beak. This is the one I wanted to duplicate. Those are the little ruffles, feathers for the L. There is the card and the other decoration for the L. And these 2 I'm going to need to, right now, rotate them so that they'll fit within that red bounding box before I can actually send it to the machine. I now then can send this to the machine. I'm going to export, transfer FCM file. Some objects are outside the red dashed area. Okay. So let's see. We may have a stray around. Oh yes, there it is up there. We'll bring that in and I'll go ahead and resize that as well in case we need it. And I'll send now to the machine. So I'm going to go cut this out and then I'll be back and we'll put it together. I've completed all the cutting and you can see here we have our little trio of owls. And as I said, if you didn't want these score lines in here, you could simply take it and place it in your scoreboard and line up where that middle part is and just score down. I decided to leave mine in so that you would also be able to see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold up on those score lines. I'll just do it by hand to begin with. These then are going to come in to the middle like that. So that is just going to naturally to fold over. So that I didn't put any score lines there, but I did put them down the middle of these half owls, like that. And then you'll see, when you open it, it will be like that. Also cut out the smaller piece that will go on the inside, and to place those in there like that, and then I'll refold it. And this will then come around like that, or you could indeed, if you wanted to, just cut it right down the middle there and place it. You'll see I'm going to go over those folds again. Again, you can put that back in your scoreboard, if that would help. This is actually folding fairly nicely. Like that. And I did, just so you know, end up resizing this piece here because I was trying to fit it onto an A4 sheet of card and it really wasn't fitting. So I did another offset line and just brought it in a little bit smaller. So if you were doing this, I would say maybe 0.16 or 0.20, something like that. So there is our owl standing proud, like that. I also have all my other little bits and pieces for the decoration, starting with the eyes here, which are going to go on like that. And I've got the centers for them as well. Yeah. So I'm going to just glue these together. The beak, I'm going to put multiples of these together just to strengthen it. So all I did was, when I went to cut these out, I just added 2 of these. Just place those together. This one. The wings in as well, so I can start deciding where I want everything to go. So the wings, go something like that, and I have these little pieces here, so I think I'm just going to probably chop down and have them come across like so. Just underneath there. I've had a change of heart about this beak, so I'm just going to set that aside. And what I've done is cut another piece, which is slightly bigger than this one, as you can see. What I'm going to do is I'll place it here. What I'll do is just split it in half here, from that point, like that. And then I can have one on one side and one on the other so that they come together like that. There is our shaped owl gatefold card, and you can have it displayed more like that if you like, or bring it in closer like so, to give you an idea what that would look like. And it really was not, I don't think, very difficult to do. And as I said, you can use many different shapes for these gatefold, or these shaped gatefold cards. A butterfly would be amazing as well. And then you could really have it expand out. Stars, hearts, anything like that. And as you can see, it stands nicely. So that can be displayed on a mantelpiece, or a side table, or something like that. I'm really quite pleased with it. So, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, be sure that you do so today. I would really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thank you so much, as always, for coming. And please, please stay safe, and crafty hugs. Bye.